Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, An Inquiry into Values, first published in 1974, is a work of philosophical fiction, the first of Robert M. Pirsig's texts in which he explores his metaphysics of quality. The book sold 5 million copies worldwide. It was originally rejected by 121 publishers, more than any other best-selling book, according to the Guinness Book of Records. The title is an apparent play on the title of the book Zen in the Art of Archery by Eugen Horigel. In its introduction, Pirsig explains that, despite its title, it should in no way be associated with that great body of factual information relating to orthodox Zen Buddhist practice. It's not very factual on motorcycles either. The book is generally regarded as an American cultural icon in literature. Structure: the book describes, in first person, a 17-day journey on his motorcycle from Minnesota to Northern California by the author and his son Chris. They are joined for the first 9 days of the trip by close friends John and Sylvia Sutherland, with whom they part ways in Montana. The trip is punctuated by numerous philosophical discussions, referred to as chautauquas by the author, on topics including epistemology, ethical emotivism and the philosophy of science. Many of these discussions are tied together by the story of the narrator's own past self, who is referred to in the third person as Phaedrus. Phaedrus, a teacher of creative and technical writing at a small college, became engrossed in the question of what defines good writing, and what in general defines good, or quality. His philosophical investigations eventually drove him insane, and he was subjected to electroconvulsive therapy which permanently changed his personality. Towards the end of the book, Phaedrus's personality begins to re-emerge and the narrator is reconciled with his past. Writing: in a 1974 interview with National Public Radio, Pirsig stated that the book took him 4 years to write. During 2 of these years, Pirsig continued working at his job of writing computer manuals. This caused him to fall into an unorthodox schedule, waking up very early and writing Zen from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m., then eating and going to his day job. He would sleep during his lunch break and then go to bed around 6 in the evening. Pirsig joked that his co-workers noticed that he was a lot less perky than everyone else. Philosophical content: in Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, Pirsig explores the meaning and concept of quality, a term he deems to be undefinable. Pirsig's thesis is that to truly experience quality one must both embrace and apply it as best fits the requirements of the situation. According to Pirsig, such an approach would avoid a great deal of frustration and dissatisfaction common to modern life. In the book, the narrator describes the romantic approach to life of his friend, John Sutherland, who chooses not to learn how to maintain his expensive new motorcycle. John simply hopes for the best with his bike, and when problems do occur he often becomes frustrated, and is forced to rely on professional mechanics to repair it. In contrast, the classical narrator has an older motorcycle which he is usually able to diagnose and repair himself through the use of rational problem-solving skills. In an example of the classical approach, Pirsig explains to the reader that one must pay continual attention. When the narrator and his friends came into Miles City, Montana, he notices that the engine idle is loping a little, a possible indication that the fuel-air mixture is too rich. Your next day he is thinking of this as he is going through his ritual to adjust the valves on his cycle's engine. During the adjustment, he notes that both spark plugs are black, confirming a rich mixture. He recognizes that the feel-good higher altitude mountain air is causing the engine to run rich. New jets are purchased, and installed, and with the valves adjusted, the engine runs well again. With this, the book details 2 types of personalities, those who are interested mostly in gestalts, and those who seek to know the details, understand the inner workings, and master the mechanics and so on. The Sutherlands represent an exclusively romantic attitude toward the world. The narrator initially appears to prefer the classic approach. It later becomes apparent that he understands both viewpoints and is aiming for the middle ground. He understands that technology, and the dehumanized world it carries with it, appears ugly and repulsive to a romantic person. He knows that such persons are determined to shoehorn all of life's experience into the romantic view. Pirsig is capable of seeing the beauty of technology and feels good about mechanical work, where the goal is to achieve an inner peace of mind. The book demonstrates that motorcycle maintenance may be dull and tedious drudgery or an enjoyable and pleasurable pastime. It all depends on attitude. Pirsig examines the modern pursuit of pure truths, claiming it derives from the work of early Greek philosophers who were establishing the concept of truth in opposition to the force of the good. He argues that although rational thought may find a truth, it may never be fully and universally applicable to each and every individual's experience. Therefore, what is needed is an approach to viewing life that is more varied and inclusive and has a wider range of application. He makes a case that originally the Greeks did not distinguish between quality and truth they were one and the same and that the divorce was, in fact, artificial and is now a source of much frustration and unhappiness in the world, particularly overall dissatisfaction with modern life. Pirsig aims towards a perception of the world that embraces both sides, the rational and the romantic. This means encompassing irrational sources of wisdom and understanding as well as science, reason and technology. In particular, this must include bursts of creativity and intuition that seemingly come from nowhere and are not rationally explicable. Pirsig seeks to demonstrate that rationality and Zen-like being in the moment can harmoniously coexist. He suggests such a combination of rationality and romanticism can potentially bring a higher quality of life. See also: Pirsig's Metaphysics of Quality, Leela, An Inquiry into Morals, Quality, Emotional Intelligence, Gestalt Psychology, Gumption Trap, List of books about philosophy, Idesthesia, references. External links: robertpirsig.org, a website containing a number of papers concerned with the metaphysics of quality. Pictures taken by Pirsig from the trip made famous in his book. Audio, 1974 Nepalese rupees interview with Pirsig. Audio, 1992 Nepalese rupees interview with Pirsig. Guardian interview from 2006 short version and long version. Motorcycle maintenance without the Zen, a featured critique from theskeptic.com.